Hello soul searchers, and welcome back to my channel, Falolu's Fortune, where we use tarot to gain better insight into ourselves and the world around us. So normally we do use tarot. Today we are doing a Loteria reading. I've really just been enjoying learning, and I can't say I'm actually learning the tradition of Loteria. Like, I don't know if I'm doing it right per se, but I've just been enjoying a new form of divination using a bingo game. That's actually really cool. So I am going to get this a bit more centered for you guys. Just give me 1 second. We're outside, so this isn't my normal setup, so I'm just trying to figure things out here, and I think we just got it. I'm just going to shift you a bit more this way. I need to make sure y'all can see the T. Okay, so at this current time that you're seeing this video, I've only done one other reading like this. So things might change in this one, I'm not sure, but I just want to warn you. I will just say the way we normally do this is that I basically pull a card, and it gets placed in the center of the tabla, the board here. And so I read the card for like the collective, and then there are charms that I choose to get extra messages, and those, so it's kind of like a pick a charm that comes off of the general reading, and those timestamps will be in the description box. So the general part that I'm about to do right now is for everybody. When I start pulling charms, that's when we get a bit more detailed. Alright, so with all that being said, let's just go ahead. Oh, one more thing. I don't know, I just feel the need to clarify a few things. Loteria is a Mexican board game. I am not Mexican, I'm not Hispanic at all. But I was just guided one morning to look up different Mexican divinatory practices, and so I did that, and this is one of them. I don't believe it's closed practice. It didn't appear to be, so yeah, I did just want to give credit where credit is due. This is from my Mexican primo. It's not from me. And again, I don't even know if I'm doing it correctly, so if you know of people who do read Loteria, I'd love to see the way that they do it, or just, check out their channel if you want to send it my way. Alright, all that being said, let's just go ahead and get into the cards. I'm seeing 303 on the camera. So yeah, we're just going to shuffle this deck here. I am going to try to get this on camera. I know you guys like to see the shuffle. Sorry. So here, we're going to try. Spiritual team that is for the highest good of this collective here, as well as myself, I just ask that you please let us know what energy we need to be aware of today. What is the message that we need to hear today? Okay. Con los cantos de Sirena, no te vayas a marear. And it's the siren. With the songs of the siren, you will not go. Sorry, I need to practice my Spanish. That's another reason why I've been wanting to use these, because I really need to practice my Spanish. But this is the card, La Sirena. Alright, so let me look up the meaning of this. It's card 6. We're using tabla 7, so 6s and 7s might be important, as well as 13, which is the death card in tarot. This is basically, the translation is don't be swayed by the siren song. What I'm noticing is how she's like pointing upward to this corner, and like I want to say pointing towards the sun, but then she's also kind of pointing towards this rose. Something a little tricky with this siren, and you're gonna have to figure out where the siren lives and what it represents for you. But sirens in mythology are considered to be like these temptresses, and they specifically lure seamen, pirates, just men who are out at sea, to their deaths by singing a beautiful song, and then they can't see that the sirens are monsters until it's too late. Basically, that's kind of when they bare their teeth, is when they're in their snares, they're entrapped in some sort of way. So this is kind of giving the vibe that there could be something or someone that appears to be beautiful, very appealing on the surface, but as you get closer to it, or as you get to like learn it a bit more, you start to see red flags. This red tail is pointing, is sticking out to me. Definitely honor those flags. You can trust those flags. And for some reason, another thing that's kind of coming up with this siren is that this isn't just one person, one place, one thing, as much as it's a collective. So for example, if you're looking for a relationship, there's something, especially with this rose here, there's something about how maybe everyone that you're dating right now is very attractive to you. You have good vibes, good connections. And maybe you're trying to figure out like how to choose one, how to narrow it down. This is how you narrow it down. Don't ignore those red flags, because it's like the red flags can get exacerbated or can grow. So this siren is almost representing like the collective of people that you're dating right now. It's not that all of them are bad. It's not that all of them are even tricky, but some of them are. There's something about like the way we judge different groups as well that's kind of coming through. So like I'm seeing 919 on the camera. So like at the very beginning of this reading, I kind of had to sit with this for a second, and I probably edited that out because I try not to have too many like lags in the video. I know you guys have things to do, so I try to make these messages quick. But there's something where like, I don't know, maybe you've been hurt before, and so you're kind of trying to be like disconnected from the people that you're dating. You're not really being as emotionally available because you feel like you really can't trust any of them. There's something here where it's like there are exceptions to the rule. So like whereas most sirens get a bad rep, there's still something about some sirens are actually good. Some sirens actually don't want to kill people, or like pirates at sea or whatever, you know, like some sirens are actually on their side. There's something about kind of seeing the nuance in a group or a collective or a species. This is especially pointing towards the rose. That's talking about, so roses talk about healthy love. And it can talk about a lot of different types of love, whether it's romantic, self-love, whatever. I just got the song Self-Love by Coi Leray and Metro Boomin. You might want to check that out. But even if it's not that, it's just, so the roses talk about healthy love because they have thorns. And the thorns are basically supposed to represent good boundaries while allowing your heart to open. And that's really what's kind of coming through with it. Even this siren, it's like, and again, just going back to that example, because there is something very heart-based here. This doesn't necessarily have to be in the field of romance, but even if this is work, this is like regarding a passion project or a job that you care about, or like just, you know, different opportunities that really appeal to your heart space. But there's something here where like, whatever you're trying to choose, it's okay to open your heart. But when you see those red flags with this job opportunity, with these people, whatever it is, when you see those red flags, don't ignore that. It's a way to open your heart and not be so defensive all the time, while also taking in the information that you're being shown and given by these different people, places, things. Alright, so that is kind of the general message. I feel like that's about it for the general part. So let's go ahead and get some charms. I'm just going to like mix it up a little bit. I'm just, yeah. Wow. Almost none of these actually fell on the, it's so interesting. So this one kind of fell outside. So I'm going to read this really quick because I feel like this is energy that's maybe nearby but not exactly the most relevant right now. And it's a golden heart. And like I said, this fell outside of the tabla. So again, heart space. It's talking about love, whether this be self-love or love for others. the fact that it's gold kind of reminds me of the solar plexus, which is all about willpower, confidence, and of course boundaries. So making sure you put yourself first before any other connection. What's interesting about this heart, every time I see it, because this is not the first time it's come out, but what's interesting about it to me is that there is like a bit of a pit there. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but like right in the middle, there's like a bit of a dark pit or circle or something. I don't know. I just got to be continued, so I don't know. There's something where there's something you're gonna end up exploring, and it's almost gonna be like a rabbit hole. So whether this is your own passion projects, whether this is yourself, whether this is another person, it's like, and it's not necessarily bad that it's a rabbit hole, but it is something that piques your interest to the point where you really want to get down to the bottom of it. The only warning that I'm kind of getting with that is if this is like a red flag situation, like it's something that could kind of take you in the wrong direction, be careful about getting into that fixer energy. Some of you guys may like to like fix your partner or like help them, but if people don't want help, if they can't help themselves, then they're just not going to be helped. You know, like that's not something you can really force. So just be careful about that, because the example that's coming through is like somebody who is battling with a strong addiction, like an addictive behavior or an addictive substance, and then maybe you learn this information and it starts to like make things click for you regarding their behavior, and then you want to maybe like help them get into therapy, or you want to help them do this, you want to help them do that. So that's the example that's coming up, and just make sure you don't get too much into that fixer energy. If you're having to do everything, if you're having to motivate them to get the help that they need, that's really not your responsibility, and there's a chance you could end up biting off more than you can chew with rabbit holes like that. On the more positive light side of that, this could be like I don't know, maybe like you're dating somebody and you learn that they have a certain gift or a certain skill that you didn't know about, and they start showing you some of the stuff that they've written or played. Maybe they play in a band or something like that, and it's just a rabbit hole that you want to explore more because you really appreciate their art. So yeah, just be aware. I feel like that isn't here yet, but that's why this message is coming out, because there's some window of opportunity that's being opened, and so a lot of people and opportunities are going to kind of start coming your way. So it's important to be discerning, but also to put yourself first and not immediately go into how you can be of service to other people. Some of you guys have a habit of doing that. All right, so charm 1, we have, what is the, we have a rose. Charm 1 is a rose. I really don't know what else I can say here because it fell right on the siren. So I actually feel like this is also still part of the general message. So, okay, there's only going to be 2. There's only going to be 2. So we have, I love both of these fell face down too. Oh no, there's 3. See, these 2 kind of look like they were one piece. Okay. And was that really on the, okay, so in that case, no, we still have 2 because that wasn't really on the tabla. But this is basically a butterfly charm, and it did come out reversed by the frog, and it's almost like a butterfly flying away. The image that I'm getting, or really what I'm hearing with this, is like I'm hearing the frog croak, like, you know, the noise that they make. It's not exactly ribbit. I don't know why we were taught that in school, but anyway, I'm hearing like the frog croak, and then I'm kind of being reminded of this siren. So there may be something or someone that looked beautiful on the surface, but when you start talking to them, you realize that there's really no substance, or like I don't know, something about the insides and the outsides don't match. I'm also kind of being reminded of how like a lot of singers have really deep speaking voices. But it's almost something kind of like, again, tricky. That's all of this energy is tricky, and it just takes discernment. But with this butterfly kind of being reversed and like flying this way, whatever that situation is, however that's relating to you, I do see you kind of transforming in a way to get out of that. This could also be talking about finding your voice, because like sirens tend to have, whenever you hear music that's supposed to be like siren music, they have this kind of like ethereal choral sort of voice. And then you have frogs over here that sound nothing like that. And the butterfly could also be talking about finding your specific balance between the two, because the butterfly talks about transformation, but the fact that this is reversed, like the butterfly was upside down, it's almost feeling like instead of trying to choose between one or the other, you're going to try to like mix. And again, this doesn't have to specifically be about singing, but just finding your own form of expression, finding your own form of speaking, the way that you want to live your life, like really getting into the details and figuring out that for yourself. And in that process, you do end up becoming this butterfly. You end up becoming uniquely beautiful. So that's beautiful. Okay, so like I said, we have the siren, the rose here, and I feel like that's also part of the general message. And then on the frog, La Rana, we have, what is this? I can't even tell what this is. Oh, it's a spider. It's a spider in a spider web. Okay, and then over here, charm 2, we have a key, and it is right by El Musico. Okay. Alright, so this is the key, and we have that beside El Musico. Music does seem to be very significant here. You guys might just really enjoy music, but some of you also might be musical artists, or you might be guided to make more music. With this siren, I'm kind of getting the Judgment card as well. And the Judgment card in tarot talks about hearing the call. Hearing the call towards... It's so hard to explain. That is one of those that I'm starting to get on like a very deep level, but I still haven't figured out how to put it into words. It's hearing the call, finding the resonance points with the things or thing or person, place, whatever, that speaks to you. So with the rose being here with the siren, another message too, and this is kind of tying into like the butterfly message as well. It's almost like the siren is the rose is the siren. So this is basically you. And there's something here about how like everybody's a little tricky. Everybody has this nuance, right? Like whenever you find a demographic or a group of people, you may have your specific associations or stereotypes for these different groups, whether it be goth, emo, different political groups. You may have different associations and stereotypes of those, but then there's something about how you and all of us are like starting to meet people who are nuanced. So it's like normally goth people or people who dress in like goth attire are associated with like heavy metal. liking heavy metal or liking rock music at least. And with this rose and the siren here, there's almost this sense of us either meeting or becoming the type of goth person who doesn't just listen to rock, but we also listen to rap. We also listen to country. There's something about breaking stereotypes coming through with this siren, and that's why it feels a little tricky, but and for some people it is, but not because they're breaking stereotypes. For some people, they legitimately have red flags. So specifically if you're dating, like I said, keep out an eye for those red flags. But the other general message that's coming through here is regarding self-love and really showing all of yourself. So not just fitting into these different boxes and stereotypes and categories that your appearance would automatically put you into, but really just kind of being who you are. Out loud, because I feel like you have no problem being who you are, but maybe when you get into different environments, you start to kind of shapeshift into what you think people expect. And there's something about not doing that. Don't do that. I just got the song Wild Horses by, what's her name? Something Briggs. Bridget Briggs? Hold on, now I gotta look it up. Bishop Briggs, have mercy. Yeah, Wild Horses by Bishop Briggs just came to my mind, so that could be an important song for y'all to listen to as well. You guys may actually want to work on the root chakra as well, because there's a lot of red here between the red rose and then the red tail. That's talking about the root chakra, which is tied to ancestry, fears, very deep stuff, kind of foundational stuff that lead us to being who we are as we grow and go through life. Either way, obviously we have a lot here, so that is basically the general message. If this is regarding romantic love, just make sure you're keeping an eye out for those red flags and not falling too much into fixer energy. Self-love is still the most important thing. If this is not anything to do with romance, this is about you loving yourself fully and expressing yourself fully and not feeling the need to appease to anybody's preconceived notions or stereotypes about how you should be, what you should be doing. There also might be some family expectations. I don't know why that just came through, but there's something about expectations specifically, and us just not living up to those anymore, not in a bad way, like living up to our own expectations instead of what people expect of us, hence the rose here. So we might also want to connect with roses at this time, maybe buy some roses or just draw some roses, but keeping those around us can be a good reminder about just putting yourself first and really loving all of yourself, maintaining those boundaries. I'm also getting like rose essential oil, could also be helpful. So with all that being said, we do have 2 charms here, so I will put those timestamps in the description box and you can just choose which one speaks to you. And I'll see you over at your more specific reading. This was already kind of a lot, but if you just want a couple extra details, feel free to find me over there. Alrighty, charm 1. So you guys have the spider web, and it is next to La Rana, the frog. Now, I don't really know as much as I should about animal life, but wouldn't frogs eat spiders? I could be wrong. Because the image that I'm getting is like a web. with the spider, like the spider's just resting in their web. And then a frog comes along and a tongue just shoots out and eats it. Yeah, frogs eat spiders. So I'm getting that image. There's also something too about how spiders build webs and then maybe the spider walks away and an insect gets caught in the web, but then before the spider can come back for its food, the frog gets it. So there's something about theft here that's kind of coming up. Oh, and I'm hearing the croak again of the frog. So yeah, you may feel like someone stole your voice, someone stole your ability to fully express yourself as freely and happily as you want to. But just know that that's not true. Not to say that they didn't try, but no one has any power over you except the power that you allow them to have. And that's not something that we're really taught. So, if anything, we're taught to obey and follow. We're not taught to be self-authoritative and self-sustaining. So, there's something about reclaiming your power here. You might want to connect with spider symbology, because what the spider also talks about, and especially with the web, it talks about stories and the way we weave stories, and then what those stories I'm getting I don't know why this saying is coming to mind. It's actually a poem. I'm gonna have to put the poet's name up here because I always forget, but I always remember this specific quote. And it's, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we learn to deceive." So this might not even be someone outside of you stealing your voice. You could have kind of stole your own, but even with that, I'm getting like, give yourself grace. There's something about, like, again, this whole reading was about expectations. So you guys, very early on, something about you guys feels very hypersensitive, first of all, because I just started getting so teary-eyed. So y'all might be hypersensitive, very empathetic. You can feel energies in the room that other people don't even seem fazed by. Which would make sense for what I'm getting, because what I'm getting with this frog is that even if people didn't specifically say to your face out loud explicitly what they were expecting of you, you could always kind of sense what was expected of you, whether it was expected from family, teachers, friends, partners. It's like you can always kind of tell what people are wanting and needing from you, and you can immediately adapt. And so there is, and again, the word adapt is even sticking out to me, because frogs are, I'm not going to say they're adaptable, but like, and I could be wrong. Again, I feel like I don't know enough about nature, but can't frogs live in the water or on land? Am I tripping? I could be wrong. Whatever. That's not even important. But there's something where you guys can just like adapt. You can shapeshift. And all of that shape-shifting has led to this sense of you not knowing even who you are anymore, or not really having a voice that, or if you do feel like you have a voice, it's not a voice you're proud of. Maybe you don't feel like you've been expressing yourself the most authentically. So I don't know, there's just like some sort of shame around your voice and the way you've allowed it to be quote-unquote stolen. But pile one, if you chose this charm, you can absolutely reclaim your power. Keep an eye out for spiders. Those might be a spirit animal or something symbolic for you. And if you do see spiders, just notice what you're thinking about at the time. Notice where specifically they're popping up for you. If they're popping up at work, for example, you might need to change some of your thoughts about work. If they're popping up at home, you might need to feng shui your house, maybe change some energy in your home. But the general emphasis here is that you can reclaim your voice, you can reclaim your power. You have the power to do that. You just have to take the steps to do it. Nobody else is going to do that work for you. Pay attention to your thoughts as well. Like whenever you notice yourself having some negative self-talk, feel free to stop it in its tracks and explore it. So there was something, I can't even remember what I was thinking the other day. Something about one of my projects or something that I was like, I don't think I could do that. And then I immediately stopped myself like, wait a minute, why not? Why can't I do that? I could absolutely do that. But yeah, there's a lot about the way that you think about yourself, the way that you think about the world, where you place power is coming up. And really all of that power just needs to come back to you. You need to reclaim your power, reclaim your energy. Every night when I go to sleep, that's literally part of my prayer, is just thanking my spiritual team for helping me to call back my power, my energy from every person, place, time, space, and thing that has it, so that I can use it in the most efficient way for myself in the here and now. So you might want to try that, like every night, just taking some time to set that intention to call your power back to yourself. And then once you have that power back, ensuring that you're telling yourself good stories, good affirmations, really getting into some positive self-talk with that spider. You might want to also look up deities that are associated with spiders, because there could be different deities that are trying to reach out to you and help you with some of this work. But yeah, other than that, pile 1, spiderweb charm, that is all I'm seeing for you guys. I hope this gave a bit more insight into what's going on with you. I certainly hope it helped. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see y'all in my next video. See you later. Pile 2, charm 2, the key, con el músico. So this is a very interesting key. There's like something, I feel like this part isn't even the most important, so I'm gonna leave it alone, but maybe it'll come back up. I don't know, something about the end of this key kind of looks like a spaceship to me. So I'm kind of getting alien energy, like I'm not even gonna say alien. Some of you guys may resonate with like starseed energy though, so like Pleiadian, Arcturian, Lemurian, something like that. You may work with that sort of energy. There's something being unlocked for you guys, and it definitely has something. So the music, the fact that this key came out with the music, you might, and then I'm getting the dance of life. Generally what's being unlocked for you guys, if you chose this charm, is your self-expression, and your self-expression is being unlocked because you're tapping into this self-love. So this is the energy of like not holding back maybe some of those more negative feelings. You're just going to get it out there, and the consequences are just consequences, but you have to say it. You've gotten to a point in life where you just have to get it out. You have to say it. You can't hold it back. Maybe you're learning how to say it nicely, but the last thing you're going to do at this point in your life is suppress it. The number 32 is sticking out to me, and I think it's sticking out because I'm 31, so that's like right around the corner for me. There is something that the 30s brings, that's just no nonsense. Like we're not playing around anymore. We're not playing these games with people. We're not trying to be anything except who we are. This is getting to like that grown energy. I know technically when you're in your early 20s you are grown, but it's different. It is different. When you hit those late 20s, early 30s, you really start coming into your own, and that's kind of what I'm getting for you guys if you chose this charm. Besides just not suppressing anymore, because that's what's really coming up, there's something about how even just expressing a smaller truth, or something that you historically would have deemed as more negative, or even a more positive truth. It's like whatever you're expressing, all of this just kind of flowing out of you, it's unlocking some sort of music within you. So I don't know if maybe you used to sing and then you stopped, and you know, every now and again you try and it doesn't really sound all that good. You're like, where did that voice come from? I just got I just got Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove when she turned into a cat. She was like, is that my voice? Is that my voice? And that's literally what I just got with you guys. So you might feel like you don't even recognize your voice anymore. But there's something about like the more that you express and just get all of this stuff off your chest, the more that you just let it all out, regardless of the consequences, the more it unlocks your voice. It unlocks the music within you. You may not necessarily be a singer, but that is certainly coming through very high here. But it could also just be maybe like to dance, because the dance of life did come to my brain. And there's something about the more that you express vocally, it allows for these other sorts of expression, whether that's dancing, writing music, producing music, writing poetry. It's like whatever you're speaking out, it's almost like unblocking. That's what it really feels like. It feels like a throat chakra unblocking, a throat chakra cleansing, and also maybe a heart chakra cleansing as well. Because you've tapped into this level of self-love to where you're not sacrificing your peace for anybody else. And so it's allowing the energy to move and flow through you a lot easier than it has for a while. There's something about the inner child coming through. So yeah, it's almost like you're kind of going back to how you were as a kid, or at least when you were younger. Something about just being more expressive. It's not that you don't care about other people's feelings, but you can't put their feelings before your own. You just can't. And it's not like you're trying to physically hurt anybody, right? But I think you guys have suppressed a lot from trying to not hurt other people's feelings, and at this point in your life, you're just not there. And that's actually a great and beautiful place to be. It's really going to open up a lot for you with that key and the music. I'm also noticing, like, this El Musico image here is mainly blue and yellow. Yellow is the solar plexus chakra, which we already talked about a little earlier, and blue is that throat chakra. So it's all about, you know, just expressing verbally, but also in the way that you live your life, in the clothes that you wear, in the places that you go, just really expressing your truth and who you are. So this is very beautiful energy. I feel like you guys are getting it. Y'all are getting the point. This was really just, I think, supposed to be more confirmation for y'all than anything. So stay the course. Remember to put yourself first. It doesn't serve anybody. I know you guys may have historically been people pleasers too. That's coming through pretty strongly. I know sometimes we do that to feel safe, so you might also want to work on the root chakra. But alright, other than that, my dears, that is all I'm saying. I hope this message helped, confirmed, gave you some sort of peace, because I feel like you guys are already on the right track, and the message is really just to stay the course. And this is why you want to stay the course, because it's really going to unlock an energetic flow for you that I think you've been needing for a very long time. So, very beautiful energy. I hope it helped, or at the very least entertained you. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys in my next video. See you later, how to.